Our residents in Gaza are searching through the rubble of destroyed buildings following Israeli airstrikes. Gaza's health ministry says at least 687 Palestinians have been killed and 3,726 wounded in Israeli airstrikes on the blockaded enclave since Saturday. Apartment blocks, a mosque and hospitals among the sites that have been attacked and destroyed. It's also, of course, affected infrastructure, including roads and houses. Israeli TV channels say the death toll from the Hamas attack has climbed to 900 Israelis, with at least 2,600 injured and dozens still held captive. Well, for more on that story, we're joined by Professor Andre Duvenhage, who is a political analyst with the Northwest University. Prof, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. It's been just a couple of days of this conflict, and what we are seeing is that the escalation of the conflict only continues to take place. We're counting more and more lives being lost. This cannot be good, either for the people of, either for Palestinians or even for Israelis.
Indeed, yes. My take on it is that the event of the past weekend is comparable to the 9/11 incident with fundamental implications for world stability. It was a well-planned, executed exercise and plan from the Palestinians, from Hamas, but with the support by external forces. And here already we can read the names of Russia and Iran. And a very important question at this point in time is, what is the connection to the bigger Russian-Ukrainian war, where Russia is currently busy losing Crimea? And this is a typical strategic move that can change the whole strategic, political and military environment. But to come to your point, indeed, there's a lot of polarization and escalation. Israel immediately received the support of the majority of Western countries, including the US, with immediate military support. We are thinking about the aircraft carrier Ford that is changing direction towards the conflict area. But when it comes to the Palestine, it is Russia, it is Iran, it is Saudi Arabia, it is the Arab League, it is Pakistan. And I would like to say that South Africa's sympathy is probably closer to the case of Palestine at the moment, reading it from an ANC government perspective. But generally speaking, I think we will look back to this incident as a type of a black swan moment in world history.
It's so interesting that you are looking at it from that context, Prof, because one certainly gets the sense that something has been triggered. We, of course, already know the billions of US dollars that, for instance, America provides to Israel annually to help support their military and defense network. The fact that what we have seen in the last couple of days has been an escalation of that support across the board. When we look at the language that is also coming out of those that are representing either the Israeli Defense Force and even, the government of the day, it's a lot of war talk, talking very tough, and one gets the sense that perhaps what we are dealing with may not, or what we see unfold, may not only be about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but that it could well become another place where there is perhaps a proxy, another conflict that becomes a proxy for really determining the world order.
Yes, I agree. And that is why I mentioned the type of alignment with this crisis when you connect this to the Russian-Ukrainian context, where we clearly have the West supporting Ukraine, and then we have Russia supported by a number of other states. And it was absolutely clear that Russia is running into trouble, and they need to develop something new to change the strategic environment. And we know the dynamics of the Middle East. It is a highly unstable environment with the potential for conflict. We must take into consideration that both Israel and Iran has nuclear potential and are nuclear nations. We know that the West will definitely support Israel, but we also know that the Islam-orientated countries will support the Palestine case. And I think at the end of the day, this may be written down as an extremely clever move on the side of the Russians. And already I picked it up in the media that the Russians are currently busy with negotiations with the Iraqi leadership, also with the Palestinian leadership, Mahmoud Abbas, as well as with Iran. And it is clearly indicating the potential for the escalation of war. And some people, maybe it's still early times, but they are talking about the potential that this may develop into a third world war.
Sure. Professor Andre Duvenhage, one hopes that it doesn't get there. He is a political analyst with the Northwest University.